You are listening to Lee Allure. Make sure that you are seated in a comfortable position.
Okay, so let's see what happens if you just have an empty mind. If your unconscious self just pays attention to my voice and lets everything else go, and as your unconscious mind pays attention to my voice and lets everything else go, I wonder how easy it is for your brain, as you find yourself focusing, to drop down more deeply and easily into trance. You know how to go there. Even if you think you don't know how to go into trance, your unconscious mind is really good at allowing you to go to a space where consciously you're less and less aware of what's going on. Even if you think you're consciously aware, your unconscious mind is really so much busier doing all sorts of crazy things in the background that your conscious self will never be aware of. And because your conscious self will never be aware of it, think about how fascinating that is to realize that consciously you're not really aware of much at all. And because consciously you're not really aware of much at all, it's easy to slide away deeply into trance. I mean, if you want the numbers, it's something like our senses take in billions of pieces of information, but we only pass about 75,000 on to our conscious self. So right there, our conscious self isn't aware of most things. So your conscious self can keep, if it wants to, being aware of the things that it's sure that it knows. But I'm assuring you right now that your conscious self is unaware. And it feels really good to realize that once you know that your conscious self is unaware of most things, that you can find yourself becoming less and less aware of everything. Until maybe there's only one or two things that you find yourself really aware of. And good luck today. Those things might be listening to the sound of my voice and dropping more deeply into trance. Maybe being aware of what it feels like when your brain goes more deeply into trance. As your brain goes more deeply into trance, I wonder right now if you can find yourself feeling a certain way. Sometimes when I drop into trance, my body does feel heavy. Parts of me just don't want to move. And sometimes when I'm in trance, I feel like I'm far, far away, like I'm pulling away from my hands maybe, my eyes are open. Maybe I get tingles somewhere. I love the story of my friend who would get tingles on their head when they had been hypnotized, and that's how they knew they had been hypnotized, even though they were very good at forgetting what had happened while they were being hypnotized. And when I took the tingles away, they had no idea that they had been hypnotized. I wonder if your body works like that, if there's something inside you that lets you know that you've been hypnotized. And then if that were taken away, would you even be aware of that? Would you just think that nothing had happened and that everything was fine? And that you could just keep going on doing whatever it was, easily and effortlessly, like right now, just dropping down more deeply into trance, unaware that you're even there. So allow your brain to just realize how empty it is. You can hear the sound of my voice. You can let go of everything else, because nothing else is important right now, except for maybe the thought or two that's rattling around in your head. And while you think about the thought that you might possibly have 75,000 thoughts, awarenesses in a day, how many can you possibly have in every second? And how many things are your senses unconsciously bringing to you that you're just completely unaware of? So really, because your brain is already pretty empty, your thoughts are already pretty empty, you could just let them go all the way, and you could notice how good it feels to drop down more deeply into trance, to let them go all the way, to not have to worry about anything else, to slide and sink and surrender and drop, and to just not have to worry about anything else right now, right here, to feel what that's like, to let yourself give in to that, to sink and drop down more deeply, more easily, feel what that's like, to let go, to surrender right now more and more for me, to hear the sound of my voice and to realize that you don't need to be worried about anything else. You can simply realize that the fewer thoughts you have, the better that feels. And the fewer thoughts you have and the better that feels, the more easy it is for your brain to just give in, for you to just have those thoughts, however and wherever you are, and then to let them slide away more easily than before. So give in to what that's like, to let yourself drop down deeply, to find yourself surrendering and giving in. And the more you surrender and give in, the better it all becomes. So let those thoughts go. Let those thoughts go, and as you let those thoughts go, everything becomes a little bit nicer. Everything becomes a little bit easier. Everything becomes a little bit clearer. As your mind clears up, everything clears up. The thoughts that you need, your unconscious mind can organize and prioritize and sort for you. And as you find that your brain is organizing and prioritizing and sorting these things for you, it just feels really good to let go. So let go a little bit more. Drop down more and more deeply right now. Surrender and sink and drop down more and more deeply right now into that state of trance that feels so fantastic. And as it feels fantastic, your mind simply knows that it's easy to go deeper into trance. Feel how easy that is to go into trance. Feel how nice it is for your unconscious mind to just accept that being blank is a choice that you've made, and that choice feels really good, and that you can choose to do that over and over again, like you've chosen to do other things, that you've chosen to learn other things. So let go and drop down more and more deeply, and accept just how nice that feels to let your brain settle down, to let everything get quieter and more amazing. And drop for me more. And perhaps your unconscious self can know how good it feels to just have your thoughts blown out of your head or pulled out of your head or gently wrestled out of there, kneaded, overflowed. Other things fill your head up. This can let them simply go away. My voice and my words can overflow your mind and let other thoughts just sort of gently get pushed over the edge. They don't need to be there, do they? They don't really need to be there, do they? No. It's so effortless for your brain to just let your thoughts go, for you to find yourself being blank and empty, white, dark, delightfully not there anymore. Feel what that's like and how good that becomes. Drop more and more deeply down right now. Slide and surrender and sink and give in to the sound of my voice. Hold on to how good it feels for your unconscious mind to just accept. Drop deeper and more easily right now. And the more your brain just responds better and better to the things that you find yourself hearing right now, the easier it gets for your mind. Whether you drop down deeply in trance and realize that you had a thought, or whether you drop down deeply in trance and realize that you had no thoughts at all, to just accept that you are deeply in trance and it feels really great to be there, and to let it keep feeling better and better and better. And the more you find yourself feeling better, the more you find yourself letting go of the here and the now and the conscious, and just surrendering to being unconscious and deeply in trance, to allowing your unconscious mind to say yes to my voice and my words, to allowing yourself to give in, the better it all becomes, the easier it is for your brain to just accept that you can drop, that you can slide, that you can surrender, that you can sink down, that you can acquiesce. to giving in, to being deeply in trance. Let go, and let go, and let go again. And as your brain lets go, I wonder if there's anything else that you can find yourself thinking about in this moment that feels really interesting for you. Find yourself thinking about one thing that feels really interesting for you. And I don't know what that thing is, but something popped into your mind. And as that thing popped into your mind, let yourself expand upon that. Let that thought be a good thought. Let that thought just work really, really well for you. So drop and slide and sink and surrender down more and more deeply right now. Feel how interesting that is, to let yourself think about that one thing. And as you find yourself thinking about that one thing, and as it feels really good to think about one thing, allow your brain right now to think about all the things that you need in order to make that thing happen. Are you making it happen now? Do you need more time? Do you need more resources? Realize that everything that you need, the capacity to get everything that you need to do that thing is within you, easily and effortlessly in you, allowing you to feel better and better. So let's just let yourself drop. Just let yourself sink. Just let yourself give in more and more easily right now. And as you drop and as you sink and as you surrender, as your unconscious mind says yes and yes and yes to you being deeply and powerfully and effortlessly in trance, whether you can feel tingles or heavy or light or distant. I had somebody that I was in a class with once. They said that they felt that they were going through their life as though they were 1.5 feet behind their body. Isn't that fascinating? I'm always interested in the way other people work because I know the way I work, and the way I work is not the way other people work. Otherwise, we'd all be terrible subjects. Well, we'd be great at going into trance, but... and I'm not the way everybody else is, or else I'd be fantastic at going into trance. Feel how good that is for your brain to realize how good you are at trance, and how fun that is for you to find yourself thinking of that one thing and allowing yourself to know that you have all the resources or the capacity to get all the resources within you. And then find your brain just developing a plan right now to make one thing happen when we're done. It doesn't really matter what it is. It could be something simple and easy and little. Your unconscious mind just knows how good that can feel. So you can drop and slide down more and more deeply into that state where everything feels great. Where hearing the sound of my voice gets perfectly wonderful, and going down deeply into trance gets perfectly easy. And dropping powerfully into a state of being blank and being mindless feels fantastic. You might be wondering, how can I be blank and mindless? I'm thinking of one thing. Well, on a conscious level, you don't need to worry about it. On a conscious level, you can be as blank and mindless as you'd like to be. And as you find yourself in that state, whatever state that is right now, let yourself feel better. Let yourself sink and slide and drop down and just feel even better than you did before. And as you find yourself in that state of sliding and sinking and dropping down even more and more deeply than you were before, give in. Give in to the ideas that you can be fantastic at hypnosis. Give in to the ideas that you can be amazingly good at doing all sorts of things, including hypnosis and whatever else you really wanted to do. I'll do my best to put 0 limitations on you. I wonder if you can find yourself taking limitations off you and giving yourself more choices and giving yourself more possibilities and recognizing and realizing that inside you is absolutely what you need to make things happen, to make your life and world as good and wonderful as it can be by taking advantage of what it is that you're capable of doing and just allowing yourself to realize that you're better than you expected. Feel how nice that is to let go To drop more and more deeply down right now. Slide and surrender, sink and give in. And open up more to the idea that everything feels so very good. That going deeply into trance feels so very good. That you can find yourself wanting and needing to feel very good. Humans need to feel good. So let yourself feel even better. While you drop and let go. While you surrender and sink. And while your brain expands its capacity for doing more and learning more, consciously and unconsciously, feel what that's like to drop. And to drop now more deeply and more easily. Discover how good that feels, and let your unconscious mind let you feel even better, just like that. Feel even better, just like that. And as you find yourself feeling better, you can sink down deeper. As you find yourself in that state of experiencing what that trance is like, you can just feel better. Blissfully kind of drifting along. Can you drift and be heavy at the same time? Can you imagine what that's like? Can you stay in one place and be weightless at the same time? How much more deeply down can you go? Can you imagine that there's something inside you that wants to take you somewhere on a lovely little journey that just keeps going on? The journey itself is absolutely the destination. Doesn't matter where you're going. The wonder of what's around you and how good it feels to be on the move, even if you're sitting in your chair. Just let go and sink down more deeply right now. Surrender and sink and drop down more and more deeply, more and more powerfully right now. In that place where your brain is happy to be. In that place that your unconscious mind gets thrilled to stay in. Hold on to what that's like as you sink and slide and drop down deeper right now. Let go of everything else. Just let go. Open up your mind more and more and more. And the more your unconscious mind opens up to the possibility of what it is that you can find yourself capable of doing and what it is that you can find yourself getting better and better at, it's easy to just give in. It's easier to just say yes. It's easier to just let everything else go. And the more you let everything else go, the better it is. So just keep dropping right now. Just keep sliding right now. Just keep sinking right now. And hold on to how good it feels, and hold on to how nice it is for your brain to just accept and to be there. So that you can find yourself feeling great throughout the rest of your day, whether you come back or not. Hold on to what that's like, and on the count of 5, find yourself coming up all the way, feeling fantastic, with some new abilities, maybe a new destination in your brain for where something somehow is going to take you, a new ability for the way your unconscious mind is going to be there for you when you need it, because you have all the resources or the ability to get the resources that you need within you. And let yourself just accept that and think about what it is that you really want and what you're going to find yourself doing. What it is that you want to make happen. You can do it. I have faith. Coming back with all of that on 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Eyes open, wide awake.
Thank you for listening.